Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Gamefromscratch, and today we are going to revisit one of the coolest and most niche game engines out there, and it is called GB Studio. Now it's niche because this is actually for creating Game Boy games, a number of different Game Boy platforms, including Game Boy Color, but basically if you want to create ROMs for actual devices, you can do so using this game engine, and the way you do it is very elegant. I actually kind of wish this was made into just a general purpose game engine. It is that impressive. So here you can see GB Studio in front of you. By the way, the reason why we're revisiting it today is because GB Studio 3.2 was just released. We'll get to the details of that release at the end of the video. First, a quick overview of GB Studio itself. First off, this is entirely free. It is available for Windows, Mac, and Linux. And here you can see a game world. This is your entire game world illustrated together, and you can see how things link together. So you see here we have this jump between here. If you hit this particular trigger, you'll jump from this map to this location here. That's how you would do subrooms and so on. You can go ahead and build your game. This is one of the samples that comes with it. It showcases the abilities of this guy. Now you're going to notice when you hit build, it can actually take a little bit of time. Well, that's actually because it's compiling C code in the background. So it's actually creating an actual ROM of your game. So here is our simple title. We'll go ahead, enter is start. We will do a new game, which I think is J or K. No save data found. All right, so here we go. Let's start our game up. Okay. There we go. So the hotkeys are J and K, I think. Here we're going to navigate around inside of our world. By the way, you could set all those values yourself. And then we'll get to the edge of the screen, scroll off. I'm going to hit here, push up. And then here you can see we can move into a first-person style click adventure game. So you got a number of different control options available here, and gives you an idea of exactly how games work. So how are they actually put together? Well, that's all done in this handy little interface. So you see here you got a variety of different screens or scenes. So the scrolling area we started at was right here. You can see when we get to the end of it, we hit this trigger, which causes us to go from here to here. And then this guy's again got a trigger that causes us to go from there to there. Now, when you're actually dealing with areas in the game world, so let's go take a look at this sample world over here, you have entities within the world. So, for example, here is NPC 003, controlled with a variety of sprites. You can go in various different directions with them, and then you're going to notice you have things like on interact, on init, and then on update. Those are basically when it's loaded, every frame, and when you interact with this. So you see here, have you seen my cat? And then down here, you've got to check on a variable. If seen cat is true, then instead you will do these things, and you can actually interact with and update variables. Now, the other thing you're going to notice here is in update. So for init or on update, you got a number of different things here. So each frame, wait 1 second, and then change a variable value, switch things around. So this is how you would control things. We'll show you in init. A variety of events are available, and then you basically, so if I want to do something to the actor, I can move them around accordingly. So if I wanted to hide the actor, I can hide the actor there, pick the actor that I wish. So I'm going to hide a duck. On initialization, for some random reason, I am going to hide a duck. And that gives you an idea of how the actual game logic is put together. It's sort of like working with a virtual console, but the key here is you can actually build this out for a real console. You can build this for Game Boy style games. There's a bunch more to it over here. So we're in the game world here. You got the ability to create new things here. We can erase things from it. We've got collision settings, and we can colorize things. Come down here, you got a sprites tool. So you got, for example, this is one of the NPC players. You can see the animations for it, set up a variety of animations, so down, up, and so on. You can preview the animation. You can add new frames over here. You can see the entire sprite sheet over here. Now, do keep in mind, Game Boy games tend to be on the minimalistic side, but you have all the tools here for managing your sprites, the directions they go in, the collision shapes for them, and so on. Next up, we have backgrounds. So this is for, backgrounds. So menu screens, parallax backgrounds, star fields, and so on, all the various different, drawn screens in the background of our levels. They're all handled here. They're basically just images that will be shown in the background. We even have a music editing tool. So you got a variety of different things here. You can populate them basically by placing notes in the world. You can preview your music. I don't know how much you'll be able to hear that, but gives you an idea. Full editing tools for creating music, for creating instruments, picking the instrument that you are going to use for that. And then after music, we also have a sound effects tool available right here. Not really much to it. We leave there. You've got your palette controls. So you've got various different screens have various different palettes. You can pick the different colors that are available on your palette. Finally, not finally, I guess we got a couple more. We've got dialogue review, so you can actually see what all the dialogues are and where they will go. We have the build and run settings. So this was the C build. This is basically the output from the build in the background. And over here, you can actually export out as a ROM to run on an actual device. So if you have a cart, you could build that ROM, put it on a cart, and run it in your physical device. Or you can run it in an emulator. The other option you have is you can actually build for the web. So if you want to build and you don't give a damn about the Game Boy aspect of it, you can actually still build web applications with this guy. And then finally, we have our settings. This is where you can do things like set the default palettes, set up UI elements, pick what the run button and the action buttons are, and so on. Map those buttons to various different things. Pick the type of cartridge you want to build for, and if you're making a web, you can have a custom header for your web build. And that's about it. That is your entire game engine. It is a super clean setup. Again, you can export out from here as well. It's a really cool tool. It's why I keep revisiting every time there is a major update, and now let's get on to that part. So if you're interested, it is available at gbstudio.dev on the web. There is full documentation available, which is always a very nice thing. So it walks you through everything you need to know to get up and creating your game. Again, it's got all this various functionality that we just showcased a second ago. If you want to go ahead and download it, it is hosted up on itch.io. So the download is available there. You'll notice once again, it's available in a variety of platforms, so Windows, Mac, Linux, AppImage, Ubuntu, Debian, Lynx, Fedora, and installer or no installer. So really, you can just download it and run the exe, and you are good to go. So it's a very impressive project. I highly recommend going ahead and checking this one out if you haven't already. Now, in terms of the 3.2 release, there actually aren't that many releases of this guy, which is why I'm covering this video today. So this is in 2009. So yesterday was when this release was done. The last version was in 2022 11. So 9/11. So September 11th, that they released the last update. So it's been over a year since a major update, which is why I'm covering. So what did you get here? So you've got the ability to choose timer context in timer events, allowing up to 4 timers to be used per scene. If current scene is, allows conditionally running scripts based on the current scene. Added the ability to set background tile priority for colored games using priority tool in the colorize section. Priority tiles appear above sprites. Added support for UGE V6 to the music editor. Subpattern editor to the instrument editor. Warning when trying to reuse backgrounds from a logo scene. Added descriptive README file to asset folders in new projects. Add slope brush when drawing collisions. Add magic brush when painting tiles and drawing collisions. Updates all tiles matching the one clicked. Add support for slopes to platform scenes. Add the ability to make analog pocket builds using the command line tools. And added warnings when using engine plugins built on older versions of GB Studios. Oh, yes, there's a plugin system as well. And then we got some changes here as well, and then a variety of fixes in here to boot. So definitely some nice new features and functionality in there if you are using this to create games. Again, highly recommend checking this one out, especially if you're in like the virtual console space, but you like the idea of actually deploying on a real physical device or on a real physical device's emulator. That's exactly what this is all about. You can create a web-style game published out of it, but also you can publish out to the actual physical hardware, which is really cool. And once again, the interface here is just beautiful. Like there's just so the world links are nice and intuitive. The scripting system is very straightforward and easy to understand. You can create pretty comprehensive games in this guy, and it's just pleasant to work with. So ladies and gentlemen, that is GB Studio. Have you checked it out? If so, let me know what you think. Comments down below, and I will talk to you all later. Goodbye.